Hi, welcome to Professor Kev Show. As you can see, I got my buddy Arush with us, and he's from Project Eris. Hello, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me today. It's
So,
truly
before
an
we
honor.
start, just tell us a little bit about yourself. What should the audience and myself know about you?
Hi everyone. My name is Arush Shangari. I'm a rising senior in St. John's Prep, which is a Catholic school located in Danvers, Massachusetts. So I'm home to New England. Um, and I'm really interested and passionate about the intersection between artificial intelligence, AI, and climate tech, which is a new evolving field. And climate tech often refers to this intersection of the new upcoming advanced technology and solving them with climate disasters. So I'm really interested in that realm where using the new and upcoming technology to solve the world's largest environmental disasters.
So, tell me more about why you started Project Eris. It's kind of unique what you're trying to do with it. What drew you to want to try to solve this issue?
Yep, it's a great question. So as someone who lives in New England, I've often noticed things that the weather here is very unpredictable. That's actually one of the things New England is known for. And personally, over the last few years, I've been always fascinated by meteorology and geography, learning about the world and the patterns behind it. So, in middle school, I used to compete in Science Olympiad meteorology, and that's what kind of stemmed my passion for it. And learning about the environment and problems, it led me to explore and volunteer and learn about the places around us. So that's where I learned that I live just 2 miles away from the Ipswich River. Do you know where the Ipswich River is?
Yep,
Yeah, so I live just 2 miles away, and I didn't know this before. Like I used to canoe and do some activities near the river, but did you know that the Ipswich River is one of the 10 most endangered rivers in the U.S.?
I did not.
Yeah, so that also surprised me. So when I when I got to learn more about the Ipswich River, and since my background and identity is shaped by New England, it kind of led me to think about what are some ways I can make an impact in this, since this is a big problem. And it got me to learn more about the issue. What is the root cause behind this problem? And what I learned was that the reason why it's endangered is because of the water levels. So it's a combination because since the Ipswich River is very volatile, it's hard to predict what parts of the river is flooding and what parts of the river is experiencing drought. That's how volatile it is. And in order to get this data, you need an adequate amount of data. And the Ipswich River only has two USGS gouges. And what is a gouge? A gouge is is a tool that is used to track real-time water levels. But the Ipswich River, a volatile river, only has two gouges, which is the main problem. And we can't have new data. And these gouges are in the two opposite sides of the river. So it's really hard to predict the real-time water levels in between these gouges. So that was the main root cause, the root issue. And what I was thinking when I interviewed the Ipswich River watershed executive directors, I asked them, why not create a third gouge? Why not build more gouges in the river if that's the main issue? But they said that they cannot afford a new gouge since it costs upwards of $40,000 to build and costs around $30,000 per year to maintain. And that is much more than what the watershed can afford. And this applies to watersheds all over, not just New England, but beyond. So that's when I realized that why not build something with AI machine learning that this is a big gap and it could be easily filled with the new technologies. So that's when I came really passionate about climate tech. And that's what elevated the project from there.
So tell me about, trying to solve this problem. You mentioned costs. Are there any other things blocking the way of being able to use technology, AI, to solve this problem?
The main issue is data. There's not enough data provided in the river, and due to these gouges, there's limited data. So that's where AI is the solution here. We're building a model, um, specifically a built LSTM model, which long short-term memory model. So it uses real-time satellite imagery from thousands of feet in the air. This is public sourced and free, by the way. So it's real-time satellite imagery, and I built a model that is trained on this data set of thousands, hundreds of thousands of satellite images. And this imagery is real time, meaning that um, it's very important. It's fairly accurate as long as you train it m multiple times. And it took a long time to get it to the point where it is today, where it is 98.08% accuracy. So the model currently achieves a 98% accuracy. And in terms of impact, so far, Project Eris has a community range of 300,000 residents, has achieved 98.08% accuracy, has an app that is associated with the tool that has short-term forecasting and long-term forecasting, so between 24 and 72 hours. And so far, we've received grant funding from the Shane McConkey Foundation, a $4,000 grant. And that grant is going to be used in support of R&D, research and development, and also purchasing premium ArcGIS tools. So using that money to elevate the tools that are the ArcGIS tools along with research and development. Um, and obviously, one of my big goals is expanding Project Eris, not just in New England, but watersheds across America, through public outreach like this, media awareness like this also, and also through watershed connections. So reaching out to other watersheds and making connections at conferences. And one way I've been doing that so far is that Project Eris recently was recognized by the Ecological Society of America in Salt Lake City. So that was definitely a big thing for the
What,
project and its impact.
what's been the feedback from the group? They must be like, where did this guy come from? And thank God he's here. I mean,
Yeah,
they must be
so
overwhelmed in a positive way by this.
yeah, so especially someone from a young age, there's definitely been a lot of learnings and also just impressions from other people on like someone so young doing something like this. During my interviews, one thing that really helped me before, making an impact with the project, one of the most pivotal points of this whole thing was taking interviews, and that really helped me make connections with people. So I interviewed two people from the Ipswich River watershed. Both were executive directors, and I also interviewed Wilmington Town Engineering. So I interviewed the town engineers. So I to conducted a total of four interviews, and these interviews really helped me gain connections, and they were really surprised by my skills. And partly I did a MIT program, MIT Beaverworks, and I also am doing an internship at MIT CISO. So I gained a lot of technical background. And when I talked about my experience, they were very surprised or impressed by that, my knowledge I had in the technical world. So that really helped me, gain credibility and learn a lot more from these people.
So where do you see this idea in 3 years?
So first off, college. So in college, in my undergrad, I plan to elevate this project with professors maybe like you. So I plan to make it like a community of climate tech engineers. I know it's a niche topic, but having a community of diverse perspectives in climate tech would be great. So I plan to, build this community and network with people. And in addition, I plan to make this a product. So, making it a product or an agent that could potentially um, track real-time water levels at any point in the river, not just in New England or the Ipswich River, but beyond. So, my goal in the next 3 years is to expand this project, this tool, expand access to this tool through um, watershed partnerships, community outreach, and also through presenting and getting building connections with people in climate tech. So that's where I plan to do, building the next generation of climate tech engineers.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more? How can they get involved?
Yeah, so the best way to reach out to me is through email or LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn, Arush Shangari, or through my email, Arush, ARUSH, SHANGARI @gmail.com.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call on the show. And as always, thanks
Yeah.
for being my friend.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting me today.
You're welcome, my friend. Have a
Yeah.
good day.